From being to becoming, exploring the stories we live by and the path to inner growth. The flat is quiet, and a single lamp provides the only warmth in the room, while the street lamp outside bleeds a thin blue light through the curtains. He does arithmetic, not on paper. He'd be embarrassed if he had to explain it, but when a friend shares news, a number begins to run. Beneath the conversation, the math is unbidden. It runs with a mechanical persistence entirely outside his control, humming in the back of his mind the way a fridge runs in an empty kitchen. The calculation is an uninvited companion that he cannot seem to shut off. 34, and she's bought the flat. 31 and married. 28 and the second child. He isn't jealous when he does this. He genuinely likes these people. He is pleased for them, and that pleasure is a real, felt thing, not a performance for the sake of politeness. The number simply arrives at the same time as the joy. The calculation is an uninvited companion to every celebration, a tally he cannot seem to shut off or ignore. Then comes the second calculation, the one that carries the weight. He is 38. Against 34, he is 4 years down. Against 31, he's missed the mark by 7. Against the second child, the math breaks. That deficit doesn't come out as a number. It arrives as a kind of weather, a cold, heavy pressure that he can't quite name. He never speaks of this tally. He worries that if he did, it would be mistaken for a plea for sympathy or lack of resilience. He relies on the math to stay objective. He frames the whole process as a clinical audit, a way to keep the results from feeling personal. By turning his life into a balance sheet, he finds a way to distance himself from the pain, even as he builds the case against his own worth. From the outside, it is just a man in a small room, lit by the glow of a phone he isn't really watching. But he has a word for his position in the world, and he uses it reflexively, the way one might describe the tide. Behind. It is a heavy word. To be behind implies a route, a schedule written by someone else, dictating where you were supposed to be. He has never seen this schedule. He couldn't name the person who wrote it. He has never once thought to question its authority, or even ask if the schedule he is following was ever real at all. The flat is Priya's, and it is the first thing she has ever owned. She has been telling people about the kitchen all evening. She isn't being smug. She is 38, briefly acting 22, because after a long time, something finally went right. He gets the tour last, because he arrived last. He moves through the crowd, present but quiet. There is an uncomplicated warmth in the room. It is the kind of atmosphere that only happens when someone reaches a milestone they actually worked for. In the corner, there are still flat-packed boxes against the wall. The transition isn't quite finished yet. She has been getting things printed. They are going in frames as soon as she finds the right ones. For now, they sit face down, a life being assembled one piece at a time, away from the eyes of the guests. She shows him the cabinets and the taps she spent weeks picking out. She shows him the window over the sink, the reason she bought the place. She tells him it took 6 years to get here. He stands there, and the air in the room feels different to him. He feels the sudden, familiar weight of being behind. So he says, warmly, because he really does mean it warmly, "You got in at the right time, though. Honestly, that's mostly timing." He doesn't mean to hurt her, but if her 6 years of work can be reduced to a lucky break, then his own position isn't a failure. It's just a matter of the calendar. She says, "Yeah, definitely." She squares the photographs on the counter, which do not need squaring. Then she asks him if he wants another drink. Her voice sounds exactly the same as it did 10 seconds ago. The party continues. He doesn't notice the change because he wasn't looking for it. The evening carries on, and the moment passes in plain sight. At midnight, he returns to his own flat. It is cool, dim, and exactly as he left it. He doesn't feel guilty. He just feels that heavy, familiar sensation of falling short. So he does what he always does when the anxiety gets loud. He makes a plan, a 5-year list, written out in his own hand, dates in the margin. A thing with a date beside it feels handled. It turns his life into a series of equations, providing a temporary sense of control over a reality he can't quite grasp. The relief is immediate. The list makes the future feel solvable. And it works for about 9 days. Then the lamp goes off, and the street light hits the paper, and the feeling comes back. He sits in the quiet he built for himself, looking at a page that feels like progress, while the moment in the kitchen, the one he actually lived through, fades into the background, unexamined. Sunday at his mother's, which happens most weeks, and has happened most weeks for a long time. The lamp is on in the afternoon, because it has always been on in the afternoon. His brother is there, which is less usual, and has been standing up since they arrived. It is an entirely frictionless environment. The cutlery goes into the same drawer. The television plays in the other room at a volume too low to make out. Nothing is out of place. His brother tells them he's moving in with someone. Properly. The flat is signed for and everything from the 1st of next month. He says it the way people say a thing they have been carrying up a hill. Their mother makes a sound like a small bird. And the man says, and he is pleased, he is genuinely pleased. 29. That's good. That's early, actually. There is no argument here, no jealousy in the room, just a genuine celebration of an event. His brother's hands go into his pockets. He says cheers and sits down, which he hadn't done all afternoon. 20 seconds ago, there was a thing he had done. Now there is a thing he had done early, and early is a position on a chart, and a chart has other people on it. Nobody says anything about it. There is nothing to say about it. It was a compliment. The physical reality of the room remains pleasant, but a new invisible metric has just been laid across the afternoon, and nobody can object to it. Later, in the kitchen, looking for a serving spoon and not looking at him at all, his mother says the thing she has said for as long as he can remember. She says it warmly. And you, by this time next year, hey? She has never once meant it as a weight. She has been saying that to him since he was 9. She is not keeping score. She has never kept score. She just wants good things to arrive for him, and by this time next year is how she says so. He does not answer. He simply turns the steel watch on his wrist. It is his only tell. The afternoon winds down exactly as it always does, but the deadline, given in absolute love, is packed away to leave with him. The keys are taken. The photograph remains untouched. The visit is over now, but the quiet and heavy math of the afternoon always stays with him. 9 days later, the list is still on the table with a mug standing on it, and he has not looked at it since Tuesday. That is not a failure. That is what happens to lists. He is standing at the window, not doing anything, and the sentence turns up the way it always turns up. By this time next year. And this time, for no reason, on no particular Tuesday, with nothing prompting it, he hears it. Not the words, the voice. It is his mother's voice. It has always been his mother's voice. She is not in the room and has not said it for a week, and it is still exactly and unmistakably her. He does not decide anything. He does not throw the list away, or ring his brother, or forgive himself, and in a month he will still be doing the arithmetic, because 30 years does not come off in an evening. He just stands there with a small, cold piece of new information. Somebody handed him a schedule when he was 9. She handed it to him gently, because she wanted good things for him. And he has been keeping it ever since, in his own handwriting, a distant memory. He reaches out, not to move past it this time, but to finally look at what has been there. The words are his own, a promise made to a version of himself that has long since passed by. He returns the weight to the shelf, placing the old schedule back into the quiet shadows of the room. In the stillness of the flat, the realization settles into the wood and the walls, requiring no further action. The day ends without a resolution, leaving only the cold, clear truth of the voice he has been following. Discover new perspectives and explore the stories that shape our reality, guiding your path forward. Join our community online and follow us on your preferred platform. We look forward to sharing more with you.